Hello and welcome back to Good Knit Kisses. I'm your host Kristen and thank you for joining me for the live tutorial today. And if you're watching me on replay, I will try and put up some snippets later of this and the best parts. And remember that you can't comment live, but you can certainly write replay and ask a question, and I can try and get back with you the next week. Welcome and thank you for joining me today for the live tutorial. This is a new thing for me. I've done one live tutorial, but unfortunately today, Facebook is not cooperating with me and it's making my video square, and I'm sorry for the delayed. I was hoping to make it a wider video with how it showed yesterday, but apparently it's not working. So if we have difficulty, I will restart this. So welcome. Please let me know you're here. If you have your needles and you're going to be working with me as I work, write the word ready. If you're just joining me to watch, that's fine too. You can hit the like or the love button. Be sure, and because I will be knitting as well. Be sure and if you're not knitting, you can type in questions or y'all can chat. I mean, it's fine if you chat amongst yourselves. That's great too. So, but anyway, let me know you're here. I can see viewers on, but unless I get responses, I won't be able to answer questions. I'll just have to start proceeding. So I'm glad that you joined me today. I've got my studio all set up, and I've got some things that I can show you while everyone's getting ready. And hopefully you can see my table. Again, this is a smaller screen right now because Facebook is doing something a little odd. I was not prepared for that. I was prepared for like a bigger amount to show you guys this morning. So my apologies for the technical difficulties. That I've tried what I can on my end, and anyway, I've gone over about 10 minutes, and that's not what I intended to do. So love y'all this morning. And again, tell me if you are if you're ready with your needles to get started. Write ready. If you are not, just let me know you're watching. Maybe you can just write watching. That would be helpful for me. And if you have any immediate questions, any kind of pain points, that will help guide me. I'm going to kind of go over my itinerary with you, and I can change it up into what I do and what step. So let me go over what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over cast on. I can cover 4 right now, but it's a lot if we don't want to. I was actually thinking of showing you guys the thumb cast on. Some people call it the quick cast on. There's a couple of different ways that they refer to it, but it's like the fastest one to do if you're just like, I want to get something on the needles and try stitches. And you don't have to like pull out extra yarn in the beginning. So I was going to do that really quickly so we can jump into the knit and the purl stitches, and then we can do a bind off. Good morning, Ellie. Welcome. Ellie, are you going to join me for knitting today? I hope you are. Let me know that you are ready if you are. And then, so we're going to do the thumb cast on, a knit stitch. We'll do that for a little bit, and then we'll do some purling, and we can bind off. I can also go back and I can show you how to knit backwards, which is called tink, which is knit spelled backwards, and show you how to fix some mistakes. I'm not sure I can cover everything. Oh, you have a 13. That's perfect. That's great. You can use any size. I like to teach it on the bigger needles. I mean, not everybody does that. Some people teach on a 7 and 8, even a 10. But I think the bigger stitches are nice because you can see it quicker. And if you're just learning how to like get focused on that, to me, well, my old eyes, I'm 40, so I got some bifocals hidden in here. You can't see. Anyway, I think it's good to teach people that way. Let's see what else. I can also teach the knit cast on, the slingshot or the longtail, and the cable today. But I tell you, I have a playlist that goes slow. It shows how to knit, and I show the knit cast on. And I have some people in there, they're like, that's not the regular way. But I teach it that way because there's many people who only know how to do the knit or the purl or even just the knit stitch, and they always have to have someone cast on and bind off for them. And so the knit stitch, the knit cast on is one that's good, because if you learn that, then it reinforces the knit stitch. And if you already know the knit stitch, then it's just like basically like that. And and it's easier to remember versus a slingshot where you got to kind of move your hands around and do some different things with the yarn. So, okay, so I haven't seen anybody say ready. I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to show you what I've got on my table, and you're going to have to bear with me as I move it around since the screen is only allowing me shortness today from Facebook. Thank you, Facebook. I don't know why they're doing that today. So anyway, okay, let me flip the camera. All right, that's my dining room there. Okay, so what I've got in front of me here, these are a few examples. This is a cowl that I have, and then a hat that's been knit on needles. This matches a loom knit hat that I did, and so I've got the pattern for that if you're wanting it, but these are some of the things that you can do. And then this is a really simple, shawl, and we'll also cover Yarnovers today too. But this is a simple triangular shawl. It's a very elongated one, and it was made with the mulberry beaded silk, and so it has this lacy edge to it because it's a yarn over, and so you yarn over and then start your row, and then so you're increasing every row, and it's just a simple garter stitch. And see how the garter stitch is, it's not smooth. Okay, now I'm going to show you one that I did. I started this, I talked about it yesterday, that I'm doing for this event. This is the Art Yarns beaded mulberry silk. It's got beads and sequins in it. It's really pretty. And let's see if I can put it on my white paper so you can see. These are my notes. Pardon my handwriting here. Okay, so this is this one. You see that? Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see, but this is smooth right here and not bumpy like. So right here is kind of a bumpy. Oh, here's a profile. This is good. So on the right, you see it kind of has ridges that bump up, and then on the left, you can see it's flat. So flat, and then it starts being bumpy. So there's garter down here, and then a stockinette up here. Okay, so what I did on this one, now this is showing, like if you have holes in your work, these are intentional holes. Oh my gosh, this looks like panties. Oh my gosh, sorry. So see the edges here? You can yarn over, and as you're increasing at the beginning of each row, and then when you get to the other side, you flip around and increase. So then up here, I started adding them as well to give it that lacy appearance. So it's going to continue. So I got like kid notes coming out of here. It's going to continue. So that's what I've been working on. So this is some of the things you can do. And these are really basic stuff. Like you could make this as a beginner very easily. So this one right here is all two different stitches, Yarnovers, and really it's a knit stitch. Yarnover isn't really a stitch, but it's kind of a placeholder, and it makes a hole. So, and then you just bind off when you're ready. So you just have to have enough cable length. This is a circular needle, and so you have to have enough of this long length here. Okay. And the measurement is from tip to tip when you're looking at the, like say it says 26 inches or 24 inches to 36 inches or whatever. All right, let me move this to the side. And I've got some of this Hometown USA, and the color from Lion Brand is Monterey Lime. And then I've got some number 15s, or you can do 13s. You can do any size really. I'm just using these so they don't knock on my table. All right, so we're gonna see what we get here. Yeah, pull the middle out here. Yeah, of course it's gonna give me a little bit of that, right? Yarn barf, as some people call it. So let me get to the end here. Okay, it's a little kinked out, but that's all right. Okay, so we're gonna do a slip knot. If this is too distracting back here, I can move stuff. Just tell me, move my stuff. Oh, here's my little turtle I got. Isn't it cute? It's a little thing for your needles. It's a placeholder. A needle holder. It's a point protector. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Okay, so make your slip knot. Hey, Bernadette, good morning. Good morning, Sheila and Donna. You can make your slip knot in whatever way you want. Okay, that's just kind of how I do it. So then I've got this knot. So I just twist it and then move one loop in front of the other, and move the back loop in front of the other, and make a slip knot. There's a million different ways to do slip knots. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm going to do this really simple one called a thumb cast on. And some people don't even call it that. They just call it a cast on or a quick cast on. Doesn't really matter. There's a couple of different ways to do it. Actually, I just saw 2 new ways the other day, but this is the way I do it. I think it's, to me, is the easiest. So if I'm holding, this is in my right, and I'm going to use my left thumb. If you are, I'm sorry, we had a short connection here. So if you are left-handed, you're going to have to flip these instructions for yourself, or look at this video in the mirror. So I'm going to take my thumb, and I'm going to push down on the yarn and twist around, and then I'm going to scoop it up and put it on my needle. Okay, I'm going to do that several more times, okay? Where can you find the needle protector like the turtle? Look at my video from last Thursday, and I talk about it. You can get it at the store called Yarn Durango. So you can go to yarndurango.com, and it won't be on her site, but you can get the contact information and contact her that you saw it on the Good Knit Kisses video. And yeah, I bought this one. They had some sheep and stuff too. So the video is hilarious. So anyway, okay, so we're going to do this again. So hold out your, this is your yarn from your ball, okay? You're going to hold that out. You're going to put your thumb on it, okay? Now we're going to scoop down and twist, and then I'm going to pick it up with my needle. Now I'm not pulling tightly, okay? We want to make sure that these are nice and loose. You want to make sure that whenever you put yarn on your needle that it doesn't come off, but it also slides easily. So if it's not sliding easily, then you may have to get another needle and kind of pull on it and make sure that it goes. So I can make this rather loose. See how loose this is, and it's still not coming off? Because the next time I'm going to put it in my hand, and I'm going to start having to go into these stitches, and if they're too tight, I can't work it, right? Or my cast on edge is going to be too tight. So, no, Donna, I don't need a special device. It allows me to flip the image. I can flip to my face here in a minute to talk to you if you need me to. On live video, it lets you flip in the middle of it. Not when you're regular recording, though. So, okay. Thank you, Susie. Okay, so let me do this again. If anyone's working with me doing the thumb, please tell me to stop if I'm going too fast, and I'll do like 3 more stitches here. So pull out, push down with your thumb, around, needle in, and then drop it. So see how it's making this here like that? That's casting it on. Okay, so we're going to go down, twist, and through. Down, twist, and through. Okay, down, twist, and through. I think I did 7. Okay, let's do 1 more. So you can just, see, you can just keep going really quickly and get a lot of stitches on here. Okay, you use all slip knots to cast on. Well, I wouldn't want slip knots to cast on. I mean, I don't know how you do all slip knots. This is a harder knot here because it is a slip knot. Now, watch, you don't have to have a slip knot to cast on, okay? So you can actually put your finger on it. Okay, so here's my tail. So if you don't like that hardness, you can also put your finger on here. Okay, now I'm going to go down, twist, and put it on. 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 You can even say, okay, well, that first one is too loose for me, so now I'm going to flip it down. See? And so it held it into position. So technically, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not the 6. Okay? Now, you just noticed this is super easy, right? I want to do this all the time. No, don't do this all the time because it is a loose cast on. For those who know loom knitting, it's more like doing an E-wrap cast on where it's like super loose. Now, it might be okay for several projects that like maybe they need fringe on the end or something like that. But I recommend this if you're just in a hurry to get something done, if the edge doesn't matter, but also if you need to make a swatch, you use less yarn this way and it's really fast and you can get into your stitches. Okay. So, yeah, that's so easy. You're welcome. Okay, so that is the thumb cast on or a quick cast on. All right, now let's go ahead. Do you want me to show you another cast on? Write CO very quickly if you want me to show more cast ons before I start the knit stitch. Let me know. Write CO. Okay, I'm going to read questions that y'all said. What types of knitting projects would you use this cast on for? Oh, okay, I just answered that. And then what I'm asking, where is your phone? As you've been asked to go live to show crochet. Oh, Donna, I showed it in one of my live feeds. I think it was on a social media day or a Monday, and I showed my equipment. It's one where I was sitting in a car dealership. I showed my equipment. I can't show it right now, but I can try and show it on social media Friday if you want to join me again and ask me again to show it to you. Please show this. Jennifer Carmack, please show this. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, it's 2 Tuesdays ago, Ellie? Okay. Oh, I was doing a demo. Yes, it was a loom knitting demo on a Tuesday. Thank you, Ellie. Okay, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to do another one. And for the sake of, I love Lion Brand homespun, but this is, once I start redoing it, it starts to kind of twist on me and unravel, and I don't like that. So I want the twist to be nice. And so we're just going to trash it. I know, it's yarn. Oh no, she cut the yarn. She's not using it. We'll have to get over that. Okay, so that is the thumb cast on. Okay, now we're going to do the knit cast on. Okay, so you're going to make your slip knot. Okay, or you can hold it on without the slip knot, but for this one I prefer using a slip knot. So I'm going to put my my needle in. Now I'm going to actually use my left hand. Now I'm right-handed. Okay, so oh, you're welcome, Donna. The left hand is what you use when you are dominant on your right hand, and this is where all your knitting falls, is on your left. If you're left-handed, sometimes you're able to do it because, hey, this is still a hand I'm going to hold a lot, but you do a lot with your right hand. Okay, so you're going to have to flip in a mirror if you need to be doing this on the opposite side. I'm sorry, I can't do it because I'm not left-handed. Okay, so I've got my slip knot, I've got my needle. I'm going to stick my right needle into my slip knot here. Okay, this is my first stitch. Okay, now I want to wrap around. Okay, so I'm going to the back, I'm going toward my hand and around. Okay, and then what I want to do is take my tip and I'm going to push this extra yarn through this hole. So see, I'm going to push it through like that. Okay, now I then pull it out. Okay, don't worry about it. I pull it out and then I twist. So I'm going to twist with the left and put it in this hole. Okay, and then I let go and I kind of tug on the yarn just a little bit. Remember, because we don't want it to fall off, but we don't want it to be so loose it's like that. But we want to be able to get back into it later because we're gonna. Oh, who's mad? I just got some mad emojis. Did I do something wrong? I hope that was a mistake. Why is someone mad? Okay. Let me know if I did something wrong. I mean, I didn't, but if I said something, I don't know what I did. Okay. Anyway, again, this is a knit cast on. This is not the only cast on. Okay. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to twist around and I'm going to pull through. Okay. Now the reason why it's a knit cast on is because if I'm showing you actually the knit stitch, because in a moment here, when we do the knit stitch, you are going to actually take this loop, and this is your new loop that stays over here, and this one falls off. But when we're casting on, it stays. Okay, so now all we do is twist it and go through the front of that loop, because the front of the loop when you're left-handed is on this side. The front of the loop is on this side when you're right-handed. I hope I said that right. Okay, so then we're going to pull that out. And so now we've got 3 cast on. You see these little stitches here? Okay. I'm going to go in and we'll do it again. Now, no one has told me they're actually doing it with me, so I'm going a little faster here. If you want a slow motion video, I'll show that on my channel. I have a slow motion and I have one talking you through it. The slow motion, all it is me slowing down the one I talk you through it. Now see, that can go fairly quickly, and see all these stitches that I have here now. Okay, this is now ready for me to start my knitting. So I'm knitting, this is the right side, so this is going to show up on my right side. So if I want to start a garter here, I could actually purl this side and then consider this actually my right. So that's the difference. So when I do it this way, this makes a knit stitch on the front. So if I knit again, it builds another knit stitch on top of there. So it can be like, if I do garters, this edge is going to be shown just a little bit more. So if that doesn't make a difference in your knitting, then totally use this one. Okay. So, if you want me to show that one more time, slow, write slow, and let me know. And, you know what, I'll just do it one more time, and then I'll move on to the slingshot or longtail. So insert through the loop. Okay. So when you're in question, you're going in between the two loops on here, but on your left needle, you're going to go to the left side. And if I was on the other side, I would go to the right side. Okay. So to the left of the loop, around, just add some yarn. So insert, add, pull it through, twist. Okay, put it in, and then tighten it up. All right. And so then we would start our knitting. I'm going to do one more. I'm not going to show you all the cable today unless someone asks me, but it is on my channel if you want to know the cable cast on. But once you know how to do the first knit stitch, the cable cast on is really easy. Actually, I'm just going to show you while I'm at it. When you do the first slip knot and then you do the first knit stitch and put it on, you actually go in between the stitches. Like I could add on right now, and you actually go through the whole thing instead of through this first leg, because this whole time we've been going through this first leg of the loop. Right here on cable, you go through here, and then you pull through the same way. Okay, and then you push, I usually push the tip through, and then it does the same thing, and then we do that. So I'll show you the difference, what it looks like. Oh, see now, see, and I did that too. So if you don't know, just take it and pull it out. Okay, like, oh, I messed up. Well, take them out. So I'm going to go through, pull my yarn through, twist it, insert it, then go through again, both of them, twist it, insert it. Okay, and see how this has a little bit bulkier of a feel. It looks nice, though. It's nice and clean on either side, and it has a nice even look on either side. Today is awesome, Ellie. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to take this off, and now we're going to do the slingshot. This is the one that some people think is very scary, and I considered it scary, just to let you know. So if you have a project, if you have a project you want to find out how much yarn to put on your needle, I usually pull out a couple of times the width of what I want to make, but you can also wrap and say, oh, I need 10 stitches, so I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it's about that, and then I let go and I pinch it. Okay, now this is where you can make a slip knot, or you can put your finger on it and do it without the slip knot. I'll show you with the slip knot, but again, in previous thumb cast on, I showed you how to do it without. So if we make a slip knot right in the middle, you just do that, and then you stick it in. Okay, and we want to put our tail in on the left side, like toward us, and I think loose left, so that I put it on my left. But if you're left-handed, you may be doing it on your right, and so that's not the same. So you'll have to flip the video. But this tail is toward you, so tail toward you or loose left. So I'm going to grab these two strands. So this is coming from the ball. Let me do this so you know this is coming from the ball. Let me move it. Sorry, I have all this loose yarn. Okay. Sorry, let me get situated. Okay, so this is coming from, the back is coming from the ball, okay, or back ball. That might be easy to remember. And then the tail is in the front. So grab it right here with your hand, okay, and then the lower parts I'm going to hold with my fingers, okay. Now I'm going to put my index and my thumb through the hole, okay. You see that? So I'm holding this here, and I've got these around. And then now I'm going to pull it back. This is why it's called slingshot, because people pull it back, okay? So, okay, so we're just pulling it back gently. And now I'm going to scoop it up from the left. See this little area here? I'm scooping it up. Imagine this is a loop on your needle, okay? We're just exaggerating it. That's really all it is. So I'm scooping it up, and then I'm dipping it down in between this one. Imagine this is a loop here. So I'm going to dip it through this one, okay? And then I'm going to push through this hole now. So now I'm kind of discarding this part. And once I do that, it flips around, and then I pull on this part. See, I've never let go of this, and I pull on this. And so it does it. You know what? I don't think you can see with all this green. All right. Sorry, I want to make sure you guys can see. Can y'all see this better now? Is this better? Okay. So again, the ball is in the back, the tail is in the front. I'm going to grab it and hold with these 3 fingers here. And then put my fingers, my thumb and my first finger, my index is your first finger, through there. And then I'm going to pull the needle back. I'm going to go under the thumb, down through the index, and then down in the middle of the thumb, and then pull it off there. So I let go here, and then I kind of tug on it. Y'all give me some feedback and let me know if I'm going too fast, or if I need to show you that again. So the tail and the back, okay, grab them, put your fingers in, okay. You can do this. If it's easier to see, let me see if this is easier to see. Okay, so it's going up through here, twist, go down through here, and then down, and then letting that go. Now, the tail is right here. I'm not doing anything with the tail. It's just, what it is the tail and the and this yarn are being used at the same time. More of the tail is being used. And so every time I add yarn in, this go here, I'll show you where the tail is. So I'm showing you I'm not doing anything with, I'm not tucking anything. So I'm going to go down under here, down through here, and back around again. And when I do that, it's putting all the tail right here. Okay, so it's like twisting it up. Y'all see how this side looks different than we did it before, because it had that knit stitch look. Whenever I get to making the stitch, I'm going to go over here and flip it, and then this will be my beginning side. Now, let me do an illustration. Now, if y'all need me to do it again, please let me know. Finding something to point with. Okay, so here's a little lesson on what the purl looks like. If you're familiar with loom knitting, you'll get this, but this is a purl bump. It looks like a scarf around someone's neck. Okay, imagine this is their neck, and then this is a scarf on the back side. Okay, so we're looking at the back of like this. Okay, so this is neither right nor left side, but as soon as we start knitting on this side, usually this is row 1, and then your pattern will tell you if it's right side or wrong side, to RS or whatever. Usually that is the right side, the odd side. So this is going to start with a purl kind of look. Sometimes there's a purl cast on that you can do. You can also solve that by doing that knit cast on like I was talking about, because then because you never flip it. So anyway, it's been driving you crazy. Oh, I'm glad to help. I hope the square video isn't too bad. It's actually, it looks like it's working pretty good for us, and then you're not distracted by everything on my table. Okay, so remember, this is the opposite side. So this is the cast on as we're casting on, and then this is the right side of your knitting. So when we start knitting, we're going to start this way. Okay, Now, oh, I don't have a stitch marker. Oh, phooey. I thought I had a stitch marker. Okay, so you could take right now and take, so if you're ready to start, you could say flip around here, and then you want to mark your right side. You could grab one of these purl bumps here, and then put like an opening, like a stitch marker, and stick it through there. And then that way, as you knit, you know this is your right side. Welcome, Carol. If y'all see Good Knit Kisses commenting, it's Carol today. Good morning. Okay, so we're going to go back over to this side. I'm going to do a couple more of the Longtail cast on. And again, you just put down one of your needles. You're only using one. And then we're going to have the ball in the back, the tail toward you. Grab it, hold it with these 3 fingers. Then we're going to put your index and your thumb through this hole. Okay, I'm pulling it around. Now, usually when you do it, you'll do it however it's easier for you. I'm going to do this so you can really see it, okay? So we're going to pull back. We're going to go up through the thumb loop, down through the middle of the index, and around, because you got to get it on there, and then down through the thumb, and then straighten it up. So up, down, down, tighten it up. Up, down, down, tighten it up. Up, down, down, tighten it up. And I can get in like a big thing where I'm going in a hurry and this is like way too tight. So sometimes I come through and I'm like, oh, I need to kind of loosen this up. So I take a smaller hook or a smaller needle or the same, and then just kind of tug on the stitches, and I want to make sure that they're nice and even. So if I've noticed I did this while I was stressed, or the kids are yelling like, I need this, I need that, whatever, I can do that. I mean, I've gotten used to not having to do that, but I used to do that in the beginning. So anyway, so I've got those stitches. Now let's go ahead and start. Now that we've got this long tail cast on, let's go ahead and start our first knit stitch, okay? All right. Oh, Gayla, you've determined to master knitting here, and you crocheted for years. Well, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. All right. So, and if you guys like this tutorial, please be sure and share it. And I will be putting it into the video area of this page. And you can also visit the video area of this page, and I'm sorting it by the days, which have different subject matter. So you should be able to get it to it later, and I'll see about putting some of this on YouTube as well. So be sure and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, which is the youtube.com/goodknitkisses. So let's see, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's do one more. Let's do 10. Okay. All right. So now I've got that. And also, oh, quick thing. So say you did long tail cast on, and say you're in the middle of a row and they're like, cast on 10 more stitches or 2 more stitches, and you're knitting along. Well, if you only know the slingshot, you know, or long tail cast on, that doesn't help you in the middle of the row, does it? So that's why learning that knit cast on is so good. And you can do that. You can also do the thumb cast on from here. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I can show you left-handed. Go down, twist around, and scoop it up. Okay, so it's, if you do this method, it's going to be loopier in that spot. And remember, see how different it looks? See how that's kind of loosey-goosey? And then this is nice and tight. See that? Okay, so anyway, now you know a couple ways. 2, 4. Yeah, I'm going to take that one off. Okay, all right, so now, so this is the side that we cast on. We flip it over. This is the side we're going to knit. Now, ignore this tail. No need for it now. How you get the tail next to the working yarn. Oh, the reason why that, okay, so on the long tail cast on, your tail is going to be at the beginning of your first row because of the nature of how you cast it on. So if you cast on in another way, your tail may be on the other side. So what I like to do is put a stitch marker right here and show myself where, or you can even like stick through with a crochet hook. You could put in, this isn't the opposite color, but if I had another color of yarn, I could show you that I could just pop an extra piece of, like, I'd put bright pink through or orange or something so you can see that side. And so that way you don't have to remember, did I have the tail on left or right? So, oh, yeah, get your needles out, Constance. Hopefully I can tell you something you don't know, but if you've got a tip for me, I'd be happy to hear it. I love it. All right, so now, sorry, I want to make sure that we covered some of those questions there. Okay, so we have done several cast-ons, and let's get started on the knit stitch. Grab your needle on your right hand. Is a totally free needle. It doesn't matter what you're using. I've got a DPN here. If you've got a, which is double pointed needle. If you're not familiar, you can have a long straight needle, or you can even have a circular needle. Okay, just take your free needle and put it over here. All right, so we're going to go to the left of the loop. Again, do the opposite if you are left-handed, or try and use a mirror. And then we're going to put some yarn on. Okay, so we're going to go around the needle and down, and then we're going to pull this through. Okay, now you might use your fingertip to pull it through, whatever helps you guide it at first until you get used to it. And then now I've made a loop. You see that loop? So what's happening is we're add yarn to put a loop on for the next row. This is now the next row. This one we don't need. Don't worry, it's okay. It's still going to fall on this side, okay? It's not going anywhere. Look at that. I dropped it. Ah! I'm just kidding. So you can tighten that up a little bit, but not too tight. Now, it's loosey right here. That's okay. So we're going to go through and we're going to do another one. So put the tip through, okay? Add some yarn. Oh, I think I was being goofy and yeah, got my tail. So we're going to take our ball yarn. We're going to go through, not using your tail. Leave that tail down. And then we're going to pull it through, okay? And then just slide it off, all right? See where that's going? Go through again, wrap the yarn around, and then pull it on through, okay? And then slide that off. Now, what I'm doing is, see that line right there? See how we're making the stitch now? In between here is our little V, okay? That is a knit stitch. Down here is from the cast on, and that's that little purl bump that's on that side. Ah, thank you for the link, Carol. So I'm going to go through here, okay? So the left of here, not the whole loop, okay? To the left of the loop, like this. Put the yarn on, and we're just simply pulling it through. Watch me touch my needles to keep it on there. See, I'm touching the needles, touching the needle. I'm using this to slide it. Okay, it's nice and smooth, and then I loop it over. Now, this is a wood. It's not a bamboo. This is like a birch, I think, and see how it slips and stuff? A bamboo, if it's too much and it's like catching, you have too much drag on your needle, and then you might either want to work with a different yarn, one that's smoother, or switch your needle, and you might even go to a birch, or you might go to a metal or a plastic, whatever works for you. Okay, so I'm going to continue and make it look so easy. Oh, this is Carol, y'all. She used some big old fat needles at my house, and we had a lot of fun. I make it look easy. Think I will need short, thick ones to get used to it. Yeah, whatever you need. I had her work with these really big giant needles. I think they were 35s. They were really big, or 35 millimeter. Okay, so I'm going along because I want to get you onto the other side. Okay. You do not have to go this fast. And I'm not really going fast, but I don't want to go super slow either right now. Okay, so I get to the last one, and I go ahead, and I've gotten used to where I try and do the last couple tighter, because you'll see that the last one can be loose. And okay, so once I get that last one, I just pull it out, right? So now I want to go to the other side. I'm just turning it. So I want my tail on the right side of this left needle. Okay, I want it on the point here. Okay, so when I put my next one down, I do that. So I want to make sure it's not twisted. If I was on a circular needle, like one of these, and you're going to connect them or whatever, you want to make sure and get it all straightened up so that your stitches look nice like that. Okay. All right, see how these stitches spread out now? Because when you cast on, they were all squished up together, but now you've got some extra yarn in there to give you the nice spacing, okay? You did a row? Oh, yay, Ellie! I am so excited. Good job, Ellie. Everybody tell her good job. she's doing great doing along with me. I'm so excited. Okay. All right. So now the back side of this, you see that has a purl bump, right? This is that purl again, like the scarf. All right. This is the wrong side. Okay. Now, if we were making a continuous circle, everything you do is on the right side. But when you're doing straight knitting, your every other row is going to be on the back. So you have to do the opposite stitch on this side to make it shine on the other side. But for our purposes, for a beginner, you can just learn the knit stitch and do it, and it's going to be a garter stitch. So we're going to do a couple rows, and I'm going to show you what only doing the garter stitch, only doing the knit stitch is going to do. So we're going to take and knit the first row. I mean, this row 2, I'm sorry. I'm going to go along. I'm going to get to some of this quickly because I want to cover more. This is when I wish I had like background music playing. Okay. So there's that, and that's the knit stitch there that I made, and then there's your purl row because that's the opposite. The opposite side has a knit. So let's flip over and see that. All right. Now see how on this side all these little purl bumps are up towards the top. Okay, so they're closer. So this side, they're further away. You see that V? Looks like this. This is your V. You need to get used to seeing what that looks like. Okay, so that's a knit stitch. But the back is a purl. So now we're on the right side. We're going to do another one. I'm going to show you another row. Hopefully I'm not off the camera too much. So let me get me some coffee here. Hold on. I don't want to start coughing on y'all. Got my big Yeti cup. Y'all, I would not have bought that on my own. My mom gave that to me. It's too expensive for my taste. But it works. Okay, so I just finished with this. Again, there's the knit stitch, right? But on the back, we've got that purl, right? So we have got a garter ridge. See that big ridge that's created? Let's do another one. You can get to see a few of these. Okay. I like to pull that first stitch a little tighter, and I've gotten used to doing that. Kind of cinches up that extra material so that my ends look neat. The way I'm holding it is I like to do, I'm not even aware of how I hold it actually, but this is how I'm holding it. I've got it through these 2 fingers here, okay, to keep it snug. Everybody does it different. There's also one called flicking, and I want to see how she does that. Very Pink Knits, she does this thing called flicking, and she made a video the other day, which I haven't watched yet, to see how she does it, but it's supposed to be a more efficient way of throwing your yarn. This is a throwing kind of method. Okay, so there's another ridge. You see that big ridge there and that big ridge there? And then on this side, you can see it pronounced. Okay, again, this is your right side. So I'm going to do one more row, and then I'm going to show you how to purl stitch. Ellie, how you doing? You got row 2 done? Or row 3? I don't know how many stitches you got, girl. Ellie, you're my Jersey girl, right? Oh, you can't type. You need an assistant. All right, there. Now that's more pronounced. Do you see that? Isn't that pretty? Okay, so that's the right side, and it has this appearance because your cast-on had this this edge here with the purl bump, and then you have a knit, and then you have they keep alternating, so it gives this appearance of this is your first ridge. Technically, your first ridge is the knit and then the purl right here. And so if you're counting, you could go 2, 4, you know, so you know that that's the rows. So it makes it easy to count that way, but just remember it's the row below to do it. Jersey raised, born and raised. Awesome. On a playground, spent most of my days. Sorry. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Sorry. All right. Okay, so now we are on the wrong side. We're on the back. I want to show you how to purl, because if I purl on this side, you are going to see a knit stitch on the other side. Okay? Oh yeah, y'all laughing at me? All right. I love it. Okay, so on the purl, this is where people get kind of hung up. 1, it's the purl stitch. 2, sometimes they end up adding stitches if they flip back and forth between knit and purl. And so you're going to see some problem solving here. All right, so we're going to go in from the right of the loop, not the left. Okay, so from the outside part here. Okay, so from the outside, which is the right, if you're flipped on the left, you're going to do from the, basically see from the point side. Okay, so point side in, and then your yarn is in the front. Okay, this whole time I haven't really been talking about it, but your yarn has been towards the back, right? Well, we're in the front. It's easy on the first stitch. Okay, so we insert it in here, and then we're going to go around. Okay, let me try to show you that again. I'm holding this needle with my right hand, or my left hand. Hi, Robin. And then I'm moving the yarn around. So I'm adding yarn. Then I'm going to push it through this loop. See how I'm pushing it through? I'm going to twist it so you can see. Here, it's pushed. Okay, and then this is going to slide off. I'm still holding on this loose yarn, so I want to make sure that I'm going to hold it whatever way works for you. But I like to kind of hold it with my thumb or my fingers, and then I slide this off. And so now I've got my first purl. Once I insert it in this loop, a lot of times by habit I do this. I kind of tug it up just a little bit to make sure that I've got it. And then, oh, well, good, Gayla. I clarified your first 2 problems totally. Oh, yay! That makes me feel good. Okay, so we're going to do another purl. So we're inserting from this point side and up. So remember, not the whole thing, just the front. And then we're going to put the purl around. We'll put the yarn around, and then we're taking it and we're pushing through. Okay, remember how I said scarf? So we're creating this scarf. See, here's the person's neck. Okay, and that's the back of the scarf. And I'm pushing it through. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it off. Right? So it's technically not showing the purl on that side, but it just kind of helps to go, oh, I'm dressing her. I'm putting a purl on there. That might be a way you remember. Who knows? There's different mnemonic devices that help people. Okay, so I'm just going to purl some more and get to the end because I want to show it to you. Go a little faster. Sorry, Ellie. Tell me to slow down or do it again. You'll be able to access this video again, hon. Okay. Last stitch. In, around, push, and then let that one drop off. And if you accidentally let this go here, you can just go, oh, just pull that through, right? Flip it around and tighten it up. Now you'll notice this is looser on the end. That's okay. All right. It's fine. Don't worry about that right now. All right. So now what I did is, you see how this looks elongated? Okay. This is 2 knit stitches because this was your knit stitch before, and then now you just added another knit stitch. See? Now on the back, yeah, that's why you have replay for. See how this looks really crowded right here versus the spacing between these? Because you added an extra purl bump. Okay, let's do another row of knit. Okay, so we're flipping back to the knit stitch, and you're really going to see it this time. Again, I'm going faster just to make sure y'all can see it in a good effective time for the tutorial. Thank you for joining me today. If you're just catching me, we covered actually 4 different cast-ons in the beginning. Really it's 3, and then I kind of added at the end of the knit cast-on how to do a cable cast-on. Look at that. All right, so we've got 3 rows now. Do you see the V's? All right, here's your, let me use a thinner needle here. Here is the V. That's my V. So you can count 1, 2, and then there's the 3rd one, and then this is my purl bump, and then my third one. So you're not counting the bump that's here, it's this bump. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we have 7 rows so far because this one was our cast on. Does that help you guys? Give me some love if you're enjoying this. I'm going to do another purl row, Ellie, and I'm going to show you how to make it shown more. Now this is that smooth knit stitch. This is called stockinette. If you have a pattern that calls for stockinette, it says knit 4 inches stockinette. This is what it's asking for. If you're making it in the round, stockinette is just going to be all knit stitches because it can't help itself. It's connected and you just keep knitting and it just goes and goes and goes and you're not flipping to the wrong side. So therefore you don't need all those purl stitches to make it that way. All right, so I've got a yes, yes, yes. Oh, I love it. All right, I'm gonna flip. Hang on, I got an alarm on my phone. Okay. Look at there, look at there. Isn't that nice how it's grown? Okay, so stockinette, just like stockings, you know, people don't wear pantyhose hardly anymore or stockings, but it classically curls and rolls. If I make this long enough, the sides are going to start rolling in. If I had made the end like this, the bottom would curl up. So that's why you want to make a rib or a garter or something on the bottom. You would just alternate between knit and purl to make a rib going this way instead of the ridge going that way. Okay, so now if I want to keep this, oh, Alice, the yarn shop in Durango is called yarndurango.com. Thank you, Ellie. And there should be a link on that video as well. But they're not on her website. She's updating her website because she is a new owner. So I would call her. I would just contact her that way. And anyway, so let her know that, you know, you saw it through Good Knit Kisses. Okay, so I'm going to show y'all how to make a garter on the sides to accommodate for that roll. Okay? So now remember, we're on the right side. We are going to want a garter stitch. So we're going to have to knit because this is yeah, I'm sorry. I had an alarm come up again and I'm going, oh, okay. So now we're going to knit. We're on the front side. I'm going to do 3 stitches because this is only 8 across or 10 across. And usually I do like 4 or 5. So let me do 3 stitches. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now I am going to knit across, but I want to show you, this is where it's going to pier on the other side. So let's knit across this right side row. If you're on the wrong side, Ellie, just stop and don't knit that row and I'll show you what to do. Okay, now I'm on the back. I want to knit the first 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I want to switch. This is where you can get in trouble. I'm going to switch to purl. So I'm going to put my yarn in the front. Remember, purl is from the front. Okay, if you want to think about it, you open up an oyster and get the purl out from the front. I don't know. That's how you can remember if you want. Okay, now we're going to go through that front part of that loop. You're going to go around, push it through, and let it slide off. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know it's 4 because I've got 3 remaining. So you're going to knit until 3 remains. That's how some patterns call. And then we're going to do the 4th one. And then now we're going to, so this is purl till 3 remain. So now I'm going to switch back and then I'm going to knit. Okay, now I'm going to show you a mistake you could make. If you have the yarn forward and you start knitting, okay, what does that do? It adds this piece here. That's a hole. That's going to create a hole in your work. See that? So we don't want that hole, right? So we want to take it out. Okay? And then go through and we're going to knit to the end. Okay? So if you count your stitches at the end of the rows, especially where you're like going back and forth, you can count and go, okay, do I have the 10 that I started with? You know, did I increase? Do I need to go back? What do I do? All right, I'm going to knit one more row here. We're going to knit the right side. I'll show you what this looks like. Keep going. You're just watching now, Ellie. Okay. I do have to go fast in some points because I got to get to the next thing to show you, as I think it'll be helpful for you. This is like a compact lesson all in one. Okay. You guys enjoying this? Hit the love button if you're enjoying it. Please be sure and share. I'm not sure if you can share while the broadcast is going on, but if it can help someone else, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, you can send them to my my playlist on my channel, and I've got a video where I go intentionally slow and keep my voice calm. All right, you see that? Looks like we got a little creeper face going on here, actually. It's kind of cute. It's a frog. Hello, do not frog me. Hey, and what is frog? Frog is rip it out, or ribbit, ribbit. So if I have to rip out my work, we call that frog. And I had to do that last night for 28 rows. So was not happy. So this is how we keep this from going around. Okay, Alice, this is great. Like having my own local group, knitting local group to learn with. Yes, yes, awesome. I'm so glad you joined us. So now I'm back on the back side. So now what we do, we're going to knit, because if I knit, I'm going to put a purl on that front side, on the right side, right? And we're doing 1, 2, 3. Now, this is where a stitch marker comes in handy. If you're like, I can't remember that, Kristen, that's fine. Just put a stitch marker here. You're going to put it right over the needle. And so if the stitch marker's here, you're going to pick it up and you're going to slip it onto this needle. And then it marks that spot so that you don't go crazy trying to figure out where it was. So now that I'm back, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to start purling again, because we want the knit to be on the other side. 2, 3, again, I got 10 stitches, 4, okay, and then we're going to switch back. All right, and then we're going to knit again. Knit, knit, knit. So the pattern would say, on the wrong side, it would be K3, P4, K3, or it'd say K3, purl till 3 stitches remain, and then knit. Okay, now we're going to flip it, and we have another ridge showing. You'll see it when I knit one more row. And then I'm going to show you how to go backwards. Yes, you can go back and watch my past lessons. And again, if you go on to youtube.com/goodknitkisses, that takes you to my channel page. Go click on playlists and look for knitting, a playlist called knitting. If you don't see it, click see more or open more or something, because there's like 30 playlists or more, and it's in there. So whenever I add a playlist, it pushes the other ones down. So, all right, do y'all see that now? And so how the middle is stockinette, right? And now I can create a pattern actually from this. I could create a scarf from this that I want to give to somebody. So I could continue and go and say, okay, how many rows was this? Like, this is how you would create a pattern. And you just write down what you did, okay? And you don't have to, if the pattern can be for you, okay? So don't be afraid to write it down. So you've got, you can count how many rows you did. And, so this is your repeat section. And so I would want to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, rows. And then I'm going to do a couple of these garter stitch rows. So 7, 8, 9, this is like a 9-row repeat here. And then I would just do it again, and I could get this going on. And then when I get ready, I can bind off. And before I finish off my pattern, I can do 2 of these big ridges here, okay, and or maybe even 3. So and bind that off. Yeah, it could be a basket weave, exactly. Like I could come and then the next time do stockinette here, and then do a big 4 stitch wide of the purls right here. So I could make a short little stack here, and then opposite. So you could make your own pattern. Okay, thank you for the link, Carol. Okay. Y'all let me know if you have a question. I'm going to go back. Someone wrote something, so I'm going to go scroll back. Pam, It says, when my dad walks in and I'm knitting, he says, knit one, purl one. He remember his mom saying that when she was knitting. Yes, that's what my dad said to me when my mama, we called my dad's mom Mama. And yeah, so that's what he used to say to me when I was learning. He's like, I remember Mama doing that. Oh gosh, yes, Pam, I frogged 28 rows last night. Oh, God. I had a hiccup in something that mattered, and it was for a client, and I can't talk about it until later. And I'm irritated at myself because I messed it up while we were on our road trip, and I was trying to do some photos for it and then move to the next step, and I couldn't do anything because I could clearly see this line through it. It was really frustrating. Okay, thank you, Ellie. Okay, so this is what the back looks like. You see that? You can kind of see the pattern a little bit, but this is clearly not going to be the main towards the front. Okay. It looks fine, but it's just not as trim and proper as this. So see how this is kind of a smooth look here? And you can see where inconsistencies lie. So like you can see how my stitches are a little looser here and maybe a little tighter here. And if you block your work, that can even out. So when it's washed and blocked, it can even out. So, oh, you can't find my videos? Okay, and on the Facebook page, if you go to my page for Good Knit Kisses, click on videos, and then I have playlists there, and I've got the first couple weeks that I started doing this sorted out, but I need to add the ones for last week to it. So, anyway, I'll work on that. That's not something it lets me do mobily, and I do a lot of stuff mobile. I have to go to a desktop to do that. All right, let me go back through. I want to show you how to go backwards. I'm going to knit 2, 3. We're going to do this all over again. Okay, now I'm going to knit this, and I'm going along, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, Kristen said I was supposed to purl these 4. Oh, man. Okay, so let's go back. We're going to unknit. We're going to go backwards and knit. Tink, not kink. Tink, knit backwards. So we're going to go, and I like to pull my yarn out here, and then I stick my, my left needle in through this hole here. This is that stitch. So when I put it in here, and then I slide, I can lift this right needle out and then pop the yarn out. See, I've just gone backwards. Let's do that again. So put it into the hole and then slide it out. Okay. All right, keep going. Put it in, slide it out. Okay, so now I've gone backwards. Now, what happens if I have done a purl? Okay, so I'm going to put this forward because I'm going to do a purl stitch. All right, so I'm going to purl. All right, let's do a couple. All right, I did purl. Oh, I shouldn't have done a purl. Oh, man. Okay, so now I'm going to twist it and put it in the hole and then pop it out. All right. I like to put my yarn to the back when I do that so I can see this loop. So we want to go to the head or the top of the loop, put our yarn in, and then let it drop off the other needle and then pull that out. Okay. Oh yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You can also use a crochet hook. I'm gonna have to do another day where I like fix like drop stitches and stuff because this was gonna go pretty long and I've already gone very long on the video today. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting it short. As far as the bind off goes, I'll show you how to bind off. I want to say another video. Do y'all want me to do bind off right now? I'm going to go ahead and finish the sample. Okay, so I'm going to purl. I don't know what ALRUP is, Ellie. Let's try and make this into a swatch with a particular pattern, okay? 1, 2, 3. Oh, purl back. That's purl backwards. Sorry, that's really tickling me. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Oh my gosh, I'm crying. Okay. All right. So, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and purl. I'm gonna. I'm so tickled right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and bind off from now. I'm gonna bind off, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna do the knit bind off, but I'm gonna do it from the wrong side because it's going to put this little purl bump on here, and I just want you to see how that does it. And you can try it from the right side or the wrong side. I just want to show it to you now. Yeah, Ellie's funny. Okay. All right. It's not that funny, but it is funny. I mean, like in, the regular non-funny world of non-knitting, they don't get it, but of course it's us. It's hilarious. So, okay. So we're going to go in and act like we're knitting because we are. We're going to knit 2. 1, 2. Just 2. All right. Now, here's the part that some people find frustrating. We're going to put this loop over the end. Okay, so we're going to bring this loop over the second loop, 1 over 2. So we're going to lift it up, okay, with our needle. I'm going to kind of go down to the end. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch my needle here, the point, to this other needle, and then slide it through. Okay, use it as a guide. Okay, now some people like pick it up with their fingers, but what I did is I just bound off. So 1 stitch is bound off. So we're going to knit. Okay, now I have 2 on there again. Same thing. I'm going to take this back one. Whoop, don't split the yarn, Kristen. Take the back one and go over the top. Okay, now I've got 2. Knit, lift the back, over the front, and down. Okay, see how it's putting like a little chain at the top? Okay, knit the stitch, lift the back, oops, hello, lift the back over the front, and then we've got that bound off. Okay, let's keep going. I'm so sorry, my hands are going out of frame. Oh, so hard to stay on the screen. I'm trying to get close to y'all. Okay, so here we go. Let me go backwards. All right, I'm ready to bind off. Okay, so I'm going to knit the stitch like normal, slide it off. Now I've got 2. I'm going to lift the one closest to my right hand. Okay, lift that loop over the top of the second loop and down. Okay, was that better, Lisa? Okay, you can also do this. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it's better to keep your hands off of pinching the loop like that as much as possible, just for oils and whatever, and snagging. Oh, good. Okay, so now I'm going through. And in fact, like, if your pattern says bind off X amount of stitches, you can bind off in the middle, you can bind off anywhere. I mean, I could continue making this and make a shape. Like I could knit a few more rows and then bind off here, and it would have this little jog here. So, you don't have to go all the way. All right, so let this off. Last one. Knit this over. Okay, and now, oh, see, and I got all loosey-goosey. See, and y'all, that's what y'all say. Don't, Kristen, what do I do when that happens? I say, mess with your yarn until it works out. Normally I'm not so long on it, but it works with practice. But when I'm trying to explain it to somebody, I actually get really loose on it. So anyway, so now I can just loop one more through, and actually I'm going to cut it first, and then we're going to go around one more time. Let's see if I can, butterfingers. And we're going to go through. Okay, and we're going to pull that on through. Okay, now you're like, oh, it's a little wonky. That's okay. You can, that'll fix with, like you're gonna put this in, knit this in here and tie in your ends. You can also mess with the stitches a little bit and kind of pull out. It'll come out with blocking and then it works out. So it'll actually work out better. Usually I try and get better about making my stitches not so loose on the end, and it kind of, see how that's not as wonky now. And now it's flat. And there is my sample. Kind of an odd sample, but that's how I did it. I didn't do any slip stitches, so you're seeing what it looks like with knit stitches on the end here. So we've got like a salvage edge, and then you can sew these together looking nice. If you want it have a nice edge, you can put a slip stitch there and make it look nice. And there's a whole host of more tutorials we could do, but I hope this has helped you today. So do you guys have any questions or want me to do anything else while I'm on here? Because I think it's about time we wrap up. I'm going to flip over to me again. And hello. So I thank you for joining me, and good job, Ellie. Way to go. I'm so glad you joined me. Oh, one more thing. Y'all want to know the Yarnover for that pretty shawl? If you want to make a pattern, let me show you the Yarnover. Okay, I'm going to get back to this pattern. Let me get my stuff together. Okay. Actually, we'll use the same yarn. That's fine. All right. All right, here we go. All right. So now I've got my circulars on, and like I said, if you're just joining me, we were showing this earlier. This is the beginning of a shawl, just a very easy, simple shawl. It's very lacy. I'm using a yarn. I'm using a needle that's way too big for this thin yarn. And in fact, I don't even know what size these are, so I need to determine that. And I'm going to use this little guy here, and it's a 15. So it's a US 15 or 10 millimeter. So psh, surprise, surprise. I like the 15s. So doing the lace with the 15, and then this is Art Yarns. It's a beaded silk with sequin on it. It's a mulberry silk. All right, so let me show you how I did that. I'm going to start with a slip knot. Okay, however you make your slip knots. All right, this is going to be your stitch 1. Okay, go ahead and put your circular through here. Okay, and then you're going to start your row. I know it sounds really funny. So I can show you on the straight needles, but I want you to see what it's like messing with the circular. So we're going to make every new row bigger by 1 by making a yarn over. I'm going to put my needle underneath the loose yarn, put my finger on it, and then put it in and start making a knit stitch. Remember how I said you can make a mess up by adding a stitch? Well, we're intentionally doing it now. So now I have 2 stitches on here. Drop it off. Ah! No, it's okay. So now you're going to flip it. It seems redundant with so few stitches, but always make sure that your stitches are down at the bottom, especially when you begin. You don't want to get them all twisted up, okay? So now put your needle through and make the knit if you were to begin like normal, but on this pattern, no. You're going to do a yarn over. So we're going to put our yarn here and then stick it in, right? And as we do it, there's yarn here and there's yarn here, and that's going to be 2 stitches. So now I've got, when I do this next one, 3 stitches. Oh, hello. Sorry, I was about to come out. Let me do it again. 3 stitches on this row. Now I'm going to turn it or do it again. All right. We're going to do 3 stitches. I'm going to do this until you can see the pattern develop. Whoops. See? And I have to correct myself. Get that on there. I'm sorry, I'm too far down for you guys, aren't I? This is 3 or 4. Turn it. Make sure at the bottom. Sorry, these short ones like kind of pop out from me. All right, got my yarn at the front for the yarn over, and then go So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. There's not really front or back side on this one because it's a garter stitch. No right or wrong. Okay. Yeah. And I'll show you here in a second when I've got enough. It's going to be enough in here in just a second. It's harder with the bigger yarn to show you this pattern developing because it's not like lacy and hanging down. And then I'll show you how to do a yarn over on the inside of your work, which you probably figured out how to do, but I'm going to tell you again. I'm going to tell you anyway. So, all right, so I'm going to go on the other side here. Now, if you can see this, see how it's a triangle, yes? Get this out of the way. This is a triangle, and it's loose. See these big holes on the side? This is going to be a nice lacy effect. Now, I wouldn't do it in this yarn. I would do it in a yarn that's very smooth and has a nice drape to it, like where it hangs and kind of, you know, flows and smooth. So that's how you can create a triangle, a very easy triangle. But again, like I said, it's going to have this loose edge on it. So it's not necessarily something you would, like this is going to be more decorative. You can add a stitch. There's lots of ways to increase. I have videos on increasing, but here's how to do a yarn over in the middle of your work. Let me go ahead and do this. Add my increase. 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to make a yarn over right in the middle. I've got 4 stitches here, 4 stitches here, and then now I'm going to put the yarn forward. Okay, this is also yarn forward, and then I'm going to knit. So when I knit, it's going to put another stitch in there. Okay, let's go to the other side and I'll show you how it behaves. Okay, flipping around. If you're still here from the beginning, will you give me some love? Give me some love buttons. I love it. All right. 2, 3, 4. Okay. 5. Okay. Thank you. So glad you're here. Okay. Look at this. Wow! Look how big that is. Isn't that giant? That is our yarn over. And you could come to this in your work and go, oh my gosh, what did I do? Well, you added a stitch. So you either have to work back and kind of work in your yarn, or you make it a feature. So anyway, but you did add a stitch, and there's different ways to add stitches that aren't so holy. This one is. So we knit that stitch and reinforce it. Okay. And it's going to keep that hole in there. You can also use this for a buttonhole, but it doesn't work for all buttonholes because it's kind of loose. Yeah, Tina. Glad you found us. All right. Let's knit a little bit more so I can show it to you. Keep going. It also has a benefit of me showing you when it starts falling on the cable and it goes beyond the needles. 4. See what? Now I have to start loading these back on because they're going to drop off over here when I want them on the needle. I got to load them on, right? All right. So now here we go. See how this is really big and it's not big here? That's because this is my yarn over hole, and I reinforced it with this last stitch here. So let's do it again. Let's do another one, okay? So how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6. Let's do, I'm going to add a stitch on this side. So I'm going to do one more here, and then I'm going to do a yarn over. So I'm going to do another yarn over, and then, and then I'm going to knit. Yes, you can do this on regular needles. The reason why I'm doing this on circulars is because it's imitating this. I'm going to do a shawl, not out of this one. My shawl is over here to the side. Okay. And so it's going to increase and get bigger and bigger and bigger until it's the width. Here, let me stop for a minute. If you didn't see me earlier when I started, go back to the beginning of the video. And here's a shawl that I did in a beaded mulberry silk. And see this point here? Sorry, this has gotten a lot of wear and I haven't blocked it. But see how it's a point? And then it's wider and wider and wider. And this is the bind off at the top. So like this is only one edge. And so like this is the beginning of the bind off here. So you bind off and it just keeps going and going. So see how many stitches it was? I would not want this on a straight needle. You would want to put this on, and you wouldn't put it on DPNs because it would fall apart, right? So that's why you want the circular needle to keep going, right? So it holds all these stitches. It's like a big giant stitch holder that lets you work with it. So this one is a triangle right now. And yeah, I could stop, but if I wanted to make it a shawl, not in this yarn again, well, I mean, I guess you could. It depends on how warm a shawl you want. Usually in Texas, we have to do a more decorative here because it is too hot. So, okay, so next thing. Okay, so let me go back. Let me start another row, and I'm going to show you what that other hole looked like. And so now I'm making a decorative feature in the middle of my shawl. Okay, see, I'm going to load these back on to the back here, and so you have to get them back on here so they keep, the needle keeps the size of the stitch, and then this just holds them. Okay, here's that Yarnover again. See how loosey-goosey it is? We're going to reinforce it there, and we're going to knit another time. Okay, so there's that hole again, and we're going to keep going. I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all can hear the lawnmower. I've got my neighbors mowing their lawn. You never needle knitted, only limited. You make this seem doable. Yes, it's doable. It just takes, you know, it takes some practice, and you can get it. Some people get faster than others, and it's your own pace, and so you know, don't put yourself down. You can do it. It's just whatever pace, you know, works for you. So see how I've added this hole here, and then there's my second hole. Okay, I'll do it one more time so I think you can see it easier, because it is kind of hard to see right now. I can tell it's a little hard. Kristen rocks. Oh, thank you. Yes, Teresa, yes, you've only loom knitted. It's all the same things. It's just doing it in a different way. What's cool about the needles is you don't have the visual blocking of seeing your stitches like you do in a loom. Like, so when it's on a loom, the first couple rows you can't really see. Makes it easier to measure on the needles. Cables can be easier on needles. Double knitting is definitely easier on the loom, I think. There are a lot of things that the loom is easier to do on, but you know, needles are great for other things too, and for, you know, quick projects as well. So that have more complicated stitches. So you see these holes? Isn't that cool? So you could like begin to, like, say you got a hole here, we could have put another hole here, and then you could like make this little open diamond pattern or something. So you would have to kind of work that out. So we have done a couple of different samples today. My other samples at the top. Here is here's a cowl that I did where I just knit up like a wide scarf, and then I seamed it together. Okay, and like this is a hat that I worked on straight needles, and then I switched to circulars, and then did the circulars there. So that was kind of fun. And these are just knit and purl stitches, and some that where I knit two together or purled two together. So that is another day and time. Let me flip back over to me, and hi. So again, thank you for joining me at Good Knit Kisses. And if you liked what you saw, please hit the love button and share it. But join me on my YouTube channel and go look for my playlist. I believe you can subscribe to playlists too. So whenever I add stuff, you can do that. If you're subscribed to my channel, if you click on to get email alerts, you'll get it when I get new videos up. I don't have any new videos up right now. Currently, I've been doing more of these live Facebook videos because it's been easier for me. So if you like these live tutorials, please let me know if there's something that you would like to see. If you'd like to see them live or if you'd like to see them on YouTube, I would love to know. Oh, I'm so glad for the hearts. Thank y'all. Oh, an amazing teacher. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, you find the right teacher that fits your style. We're all different and we all, anyway, we just want you to succeed. So if I don't work for you and you're joining me and you're not Gayla right there who just paid me that sweet compliment, then there are other teachers out there too. And let me know, and I can tell you some other YouTube teachers, but also find you a local person too. There's, nothing beats going to your local yarn shop and getting some hands-on training too. I wish I could be with you all, but of course I am in North Texas. So you want to knit a hat on circulars? Yeah. One day I'll get one on here, a video on here. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you guys for, I'm easy to understand. Thank you, Sue. Thanks. That's Carol saying our own personal little class. Yeah, I wish Carol was here. She's up in Canada, and I was able to teach her just a little bit when she came down for Stitches, Texas last year. And that was a blast. So, anyway, thank you guys. Please write replay and any questions so that they'll get my attention. You don't have to write replay for comments, but if you want me to get attention on a certain question, I would love to know, and I can help you next week. I don't know the lineup for next week, but if I need to do a tutorial on another thing, let me know and I'll do it. So, thank you, Linda. Where in North Texas? I'm in the Keller, Fort Worth area, if you're familiar. And I actually lead a women's group. It's with my church, but it's like an activity fellowship kind of group, and we do knit and crochet. I actually do that locally, but I don't teach any classes locally. I like to keep it on YouTube and help more people. So anyway, have a great day, y'all. Thanks for joining me, and get to knitting. See you next week. Bye.